Racing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 12 of the SimRacing Academy Championship here from Japan, the Japanese Grand Prix at the Suzuka circuit. 32 laps these drivers will be racing in just a moment's time. We're heading off into the qualifying session now. You can see in the background some drivers passing by. My name is Felix van Delft. I will be your commentator and broadcaster today, and I will be joined by Cameron Roger. Welcome, Cameron.
Yes, hello everyone, and yeah, welcome to Suzuka, one of the drivers' favourites, and it really is going to be a good race today.
Yeah, lap length of 5.8 kilometers. Obviously the iconic first sector with the S's. Very difficult to get right, especially in qualifying. If you make a single mistake somewhere in those S's, you're probably not going to get a good first sector out. Of course, you also have the crossover right after the Degners. And we have one DRS zone, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. One DRS zone just on the main straight. So it's going to be interesting to see where drivers will be able to overtake here. And if they will be able to overtake at all. We'll see about that. The car, obviously, the usual. Engine power, quite a lot, over 900. Top speed of 370. I'm pretty sure we won't see that here today, but it's able to do that in the higher top speed circuits. 740 kilos, and obviously the two fuel mixtures and the two boost modes, qualifying and race. And qualifying should only be used in the qualifying session. Right, let's head off into that qualifying session, see how the drivers are doing so far.
And to start with, it is your championship leader, Cas Rietveld, who is on pole position, although he's just been taken by Alfie Lorenzen. So Cas is leading the championship by 16 points from Jan Wozniacki. So that is going to be boding well for him, but we only have a few times in so far. And we've got quite a few purple sectors going in now, just like Tom Lombart's coming around the final corner. Race winner, a couple of races go in Belgium, and he is now up to second place on the grid. But then Jan Granqvist goes up for drillers on provisional pole, so these times are coming in thick and fast as they complete their first laps.
Yeah, let's have a look on board with Henry Sinnick.
Race winner last time out in Singapore, managed to fend off from the likes of Jan Wozniacki and his teammate Alfie Lorenzen before before Jan blew his engine. So Henry's definitely one of the better drivers in his league. He's currently third in the championship, and if Jan messes up the last two races, he's actually blown his engine. Henry has blown his engine coming out the final corner, so we do not get to see what that lap time is, unfortunately. So obviously the Academy engine life is shorter because their races are shorter. So it's actually just on the limit of them being able to complete a quali lap with the quali boost. And if you rev too high or you don't have enough radiator on the car, you can blow your engine, although that is still a very rare occurrence.
Yeah, I don't see that very often.
So the times are actually ranging quite away at the moment. We got about 1.7 seconds from the fastest to the slowest at the moment. And this is obviously one of those tracks where you really need all that downforce, especially in this first sector. I'm on board with George Chatsky-Pantelis right now as he pushes his way through these S's up the hill. A very awesome section. You flick the car left and right, but it really is a lot about driver commitment as well. You send it over these curves, especially this one in Degner 1, going to get right over that curb. You actually don't really want to touch that inside curve because you see it sort of bounces you off a little bit. And you come to this this kink, and he's got a couple of cars here in the way, but he seems to make the braking pretty well. Not the best exit in the world for George. He's coming around up to Spoon Corner, and this is one of the funnest corners or double corners on the track. You flick it in left into about 6th gear, you flick it down another gear or two, and try and really get a good exit out onto this back straight, coming up to one of the most famous corners in the world. Unfortunately, it's not so much of a corner nowadays because it is absolutely flat out. As we see go through there, flicks left for a braking zone into a quite difficult chicane actually, because it's a little bit tight. It's curved on the entry, and he's now coming round this final corner, opening up the DRS. And where does he put himself? He improves to 13th position.
Right, so a lot of drivers about to start their attempt. Not many on an actual hot lap at the moment. Tommy Litalo just finished the first sector. About to finish the second sector, about to head into that spoon curve. A lot of cars tend to have some understeer there because of the tendency of the track to go very much downhill there. Difficult to get the setup right there. Litalo doing well in the second sector so far. Last sector is going to be important for him. He wants to move up into that top 10, of course. Let's see if he will be able to do so. Coming out of the last corner, up to the line. And it is going to be a small improvement, but not enough for him to get up to the top 10. He's going to have to try again.
And Yalislo's team, Royal Blue, they're actually one of the sort of standouts of the season. They're currently sitting 3rd in the Constructors' Championship, which isn't too bad on their debut. They're beating on their debut season. They're beating teams such as Netrex, who have been around for quite a few years now. I think they've been around for about 15 years or so in Formula SimRacing. So it's good to see some new teams coming in and putting up with the bigger teams. As we know, ACR ISMRS have dominated the season really, and they might actually win the Constructors title later on today as we get through the race. Now Henry Sinek just got up to 4th, and Tom Lambert's in 5th as well. There's a few personal bests going on out there. There are no purple sectors at this moment. Just on board with Jakub Karsovic, who actually had a good race last time out. We're doing an alternate strategy. Managed to gain quite a few places from that in the ground effect sim racing car. He's now coming around this this chicane. You have to get right over the curbs, although he actually missed that a little bit. And you can try and keep it a little bit tighter here, get a shorter run to the line, and he improves, but not his position. It's right now about halfway through the session. The drivers only have 4 flying laps in this session, so you have to choose wisely when they do those laps, as if they go over the lap limit, they will get a DQ from the session and they will have to start from the back of the grid. As there are no other penalties today, that will be especially bad for them. Patella comes to the line, but does not improve in P7. Now we got our pole sitter Jan Granfis. He is coming down into turn number 1. He's flicking it to the right. DRS closing automatically. Now he's coming up. Although he's got right on the grass, so he's going to actually lost some time, lost some momentum coming up this hill. But this is a lot better from Jan Granfis. He hasn't really had a decent performance yet. He's had 4 DNFs in his 4 races he's done so far this season. But the Drillers boys, they're certainly improving as they go. They got 3 in the top 4 at the moment, so they've been doing some good work in practice for this session, for this race, I should say. Hopefully, they can keep that going through into the race session, but they've still got to try and keep these positions with everyone having a couple of laps to go. Now Grandquist is coming to the spoon corner. Might see some overtakes into there later on in the race as well, because there's a nice wide entry, and he comes down this really long back straight, and this is where you have to choose if you want to take some wing off the car, get some higher top speed coming down into 130R, come into the final chicane to finish sector 3 on this lap. Can he improve his margin at the top? It's only 17 thousandths of a second at the moment, and no, he cannot. He is still provisional pole, but yeah, it's very close. It's less than a tenth for the top 5 drivers actually. There are 5 drivers all within good contention of getting provisional pole. But we have Cadapino, who has just gone another couple of thousandths quicker. He started, I think, 3rd last time out in Singapore as well. So he's certainly fast improving. Last time was his debut, and he did pretty well until, unfortunately, he hit the barrier, which is quite easy to do in Singapore. But yeah, he's on provisional pole for the NRWO Esports guys.
Let's have a look at Cas Rietveld. Obviously, championship leader, at least for now he still is. Only 16 points between him and Woznica at the moment. So if he were to DNF for some reason, and Woznica gets higher than, or gets on the podium, then Cas will lose that championship lead. So right now down in 7th, needs to find a bit more time, I think, to really be able to fend off his championship rival. Obviously, Jan Woznica is still down in 13th as well. So as he goes into the hairpin there, almost sideways, pretty sure that's not the way to go. Just touching the grass there on the outside, causing the car to over-rotate a little bit. So I think this lap is not going to be his best.
When I tell you what, Henry Sinek just behind him, coming into the spoon corner as well, has gone purple in the first sector. He's the first person I've seen get into the 31s in that first sector. Everyone's doing a 32.2 or a 32.1, but he's done a 31.9. So he's a couple of tenths up in this first sector. Let's see what he does in the middle sector, because this could be, yes, he got purple in middle sector as well. So this could be provisional pole position for Henry Sinek, really bringing it to the ACR guys, who are struggling a little bit today. But what can Henry Sinek do? Down in 5th place at the moment. Can he improve? Yes, he goes to provisional pole by some 0.3 of a second. So that's a really nice lap there by Henry Sinek, the first one into the 1 minute 27s.
Yeah, Tommy Yilitalo also improves up to 7th. And Vlad Tokarev and Gerard Batala both on a lap, but not on their personal best so far. But indeed, Henry Sinek doing a great job so far, putting himself way in front of the competition. With 5 minutes to go in this qualifying session, most drivers have 1 or 2 attempts left.
Now, I tell you what, Jan Woznica, he's improving, but he is down in 14th place, just coming around the final corner. And where does he... Oh, he's gone up to 7th now. That's a bit more like it. But he is in 7th place. And not really what he wants to do if he wants to win this championship. And Cas Rietveld down in 11th. So not only does are they fighting for the drivers? But if they beat Ghost Speed by enough points today, which we'll work out later on, then they can also win the Constructors' Championship. But this is not really the way to do it at the moment. But it seems like the Drillers guys have got the edge so far.
Yeah, 3 of their drivers in the top 4, and then an RWO driver, Canapino, in second. So maybe a bit of a change of leaders here in the Academy Championship, as Ghost Speed and ICMRS are dropping down the field, at least in this qualifying so far. Obviously the race is long, 40 or 32 laps here. So it's obviously not the biggest disaster to not start on pole position, but on the track like Suzuka, it definitely will help you a little bit, because overtaking isn't the easiest here. Now Alfie Laurenson starting his final attempt here, diving into turn 1 and turn 2. Through the S as he goes, flat out through the first part, and a bit of understeer through the second, and that's the end of his qualifying. Into the wall.
So 4th position is going to be the highest he can get to, because he's... Actually, no, he's still got a lap left, because that was... He must have crashed somewhere else.
Maybe.
He seems like he's got enough laps left to do another one. So we've got 3 minutes left, so most drivers will be coming out now for their final laps, as they build up for what will hopefully be their quickest lap, as there is the most rubber down on the road. Be the best opportunity for them to set a fast lap time.
Indirect rematch for Netrex, about to finish his final attempt, down 22nd at the moment. Might want to move up, does improve his time, doesn't move any places up, so his qualifying over will be starting at least from 22nd here. Adam Rainey coming through the hairpin. PCS off racing driver right now in 16th place, improving at least his personal best in Sector 1 so far. Let's see what he can do in the 2nd and 3rd sector.
He's done 2 personal bests as he comes around the final corner. Currently P16. He goes up to P12. And the big news is that Canapino, the only person who can really seems to challenge Henry Sinek. He's actually crashed, but he was still a couple of tenths off what Sinek did in that first sector. And Tokarev has just gone up to P2 now as well. So that's a good performance from Tokarev. Sinek has also backed out. So it seems like Grankvist is the next person to be able to challenge. However, it's his teammate Alfie Laurenson who's further up the road. He hasn't done a personal best in the first sector, but it's still pretty decent at 32.1. Pretty crazy that Sinek gains a couple of tenths just on his teammate, who I assume has probably about the same setup, same car philosophy. Grankvist also has not improved in that first sector. So can Henry Sinek get another pole position to his name in 2019? But Alfie Lawrenson has actually improved in that middle sector, so let's see what he can do coming out of this final chicane. No, he has abandoned that lap. So it seems Grantfist is the only person who can take it away from Cynic right now.
His first sector wasn't really good, almost 3/10 slower than Cynic, so second sector has to be amazing, and it isn't so also 4/10 slower than what Cynic did, so this lap is not even going to be close to a good qualifying lap, I think.
It doesn't improve, and in the background we got Jan Wozzeka. Oh no, he's blown his engine, so he will stay 9th place, and Cas Rietveld managed to get up to 7th place, so that's a bit more like it for the two ISIM-RS cars, 7th and 9th position. That is your pole sitter today, Henry Cynic, for second race in a row, has got pole position.
Yeah, last few drivers finishing their laps. Yelitalo just abandoned his lap. Sidovatsky and Lukczak are still finishing their laps. Let's see what Sidovatsky is able to do. Good first sector. Second sector is not too bad either. Might be able to go up to the top 10 if he's able to finish this lap in style here coming out of the last corner. Here we go. And up to 13th he goes with a 128.4. So that's the end of this qualifying session. Henry Cynic will be starting on pole position. His teammates and his team will be very happy with that, of course. Let's see what he will be able to do in the race. We will be going for a short 5-minute break. After that, we will be back and we will be racing for 32 laps around this Suzuka circuit. Grab yourself a cup of coffee and we will be right back.
Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play.
Yeah, I have to play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race you for it.
Well, I have a hand.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 12 of the Formula SimRacing Academy Championship here from Japan, the Japanese Grand Prix from the Suzuka circuit. For those who have missed the qualifying and missed the introduction before that, my name is Felix van Delft and joined here by Cameron Roger. We will be your commentary team for today. Cameron, let's just quickly talk a little bit about the strategy that the drivers might be wanting to use here around this track. I'm guessing with the super soft, the soft and the medium available, I'm guessing it's like a 1, maybe 2 stop for these drivers.
I would say for most drivers it should be a 1 stop. The mediums are a very good tyre. They will do well into the 25 to 30 lap region. Obviously, the tyre choices are mainly for the longer races. So the Academy's drivers generally get a nice sort of more simple strategy. So yeah, it should be a 1 stop for pretty much everyone in this field. So people starting in the top 10 will have to start on the super soft compound because that is what they qualified on. However, if you're outside of the top 11, you might go for a slightly easier strategy by starting on say the softs and then do a soft medium. But yeah, we're definitely looking at a I'd say 1 stop for 99% of the field.
All right. So obviously, for the drivers or for the viewers that don't know it, all the top 10 drivers that did their qualifying on the super soft tire have to start on the super soft tire in the race. Everybody below that will be able to have free tire choice. So probably we will be seeing people from 11th down to 20 or 30th. Probably starting on the soft or on the mediums. We will just have to wait for the grid to fill up to see which drivers are actually on which tire. We're just having a look at the times in warm-up. Like I say always, it's not really representative of what the race pace is of drivers. But it seems that Tom Lomberts, Vlad Tokarev and George Tsipantalis have quite a bit of pace here. But gonna have to wait and see what happens in the race. We're just waiting for the session to switch to the race session. Then we will be going off for 32 laps around this magnificent circuit. Overtaking isn't going to be easy. I've said it before already today. Only 1 DRS zone, which means that it's not going to be very easy to get that slipstream and get that overtake. Also, coming out of that Casio triangle, going to be very important to get a good exit. Anyway, let's see how the drivers will do as we wait for the drivers to fill up their grid slots and then start their formation lap.
Yeah, what can Henry Cynic do? He's our pole position man for today. Won the race last time out in Singapore, defending nicely. However, overtaking is a bit more possible than Singapore, because even though there is only 1 DRS zone, as Felix said, the run down into 130R could be a possible overtake, depending on how brave you are into the fast flick left. But yeah, let's run you through the grid for today's Japanese Grand Prix. So we have Henry Cynic on pole for Drillers Esports, followed by Vlad Tokarev. So that's a good performance for him. Then we've got Matthias Canapino, and he had a good race last time out in Singapore, so let's hope he can actually finish the race this time, because he is obviously showing some good pace. We've got the 2 Drillers cars of Jan Grankvist and Alfie Lawrenson, followed by Zolt Sux. Your championship leader, Cas Rietveld, and his team, ACR ISIM-RS, can actually win the Constructors' Championship today. We will get the numbers in a second. Then we got Tom Lombards in P8. Then we've got Jan Wozniak, who's second in the championship. So him and Cas are only 16 points behind with 3 races to go, including this one. Tommy Yelitalo for Royal Blue, Gerard Batella, Jakub Karsovic, Yuri Siravatsky, who's currently 4th in the championship. We've got George Chatsipantelis, Adam Rainey, Noah Rovers, Balas Galliar, Miguel San Mateo, Grishek Luksak, Michael Wilson, Matthew Tewson, who's had a bit of a disappointing performance, as well as Michael Wilson to be down there into the 20s. Then Mike Almeida, Petr Palazek, Indrek Remitz, Martin Antol, Andrei Boratowski, Patrick Rusnik, James Zuber, who's actually making his debut today. So hopefully he can have a nice race. Dano Brantholm and Milan Rajkovic is backing up the field.
Right. So Henry will be starting from that all-important first place. Just warming up his tires, warming up his brakes now. He's going to be the longest one to wait on the grid, so you want to make sure that your tires are at least a little bit up to temperature and that the brakes are up to temperature when you come into that first 2 corners here in Suzuka. Very fast first corner, obviously. So easy to make a mistake. We always see when people go side by side into turn 1 and turn 2, somebody is going to get pushed wide. So let's wait and see what's going to happen here today.
I think I heard there was a bit of a crash further back. It might just been a bollard, but it seems like everyone is okay as they're all backed up coming through this final chicane. And as guessed, pretty much everyone outside the top 10 is on either those soft or medium tyres. And yes, we've got a couple of pit lane starters, Noah Rovers and Ballas Guerrier. They are going to have to start from the pit lane due to some damage. That might slightly delay the start lights depending on how quickly they get to the end of the pit lane. But yes, the last cars are now lining up for this Japanese Grand Prix.
Right, so it's waiting for the lights to come on now. What do you see? An engine smoking in the background. Let's hope it's not too bad for him. Here we go. Lights will be coming on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we are racing for round number 12 of the Pro Championship. It's been not a very good start for Henry Synek, and already getting pressure from Vlad Tokarev coming into turn 1. Vlad Tokarev trying to take the inside into turn 2. Seems that he has the position made there, but next corner is going to be the inside for Synek. Synek touches the grass a little bit, causes the car to unsettle a little bit, but seems like he has the position for now further back.
Yeah, there's some crashes in the background, unfortunately. There's a Royal Blue, there's a Netrex without front wing, there's a TCS, 2 TCSs without a front wing, there's an ISIM-RS round, so yeah, unfortunately at the back of the field there has been some contacts along the way, so maybe we can get some replays later. Oh, Jan Wozaka! Jan Wozaka is one of the ISIM-RS cars involved. He is down in P29. This is really crucial for his championship. His DNF last time out really didn't help him because he's 16 points behind, but this could be quite fatal for his championship hopes. Cas Rietveld is also down to 10th place. He started, I think, 7th. And a good starter is actually George Chatsipantelis. However, I did see him go completely over grass between turns 3 and 4, so that might be looked at by the stewards after the race.
Alright, Chatsipantelis trying to battle with Tom Lombards and Zotsuk right in front of him. Coming through one to the other. Interesting to say, Chatsipantelis is on the soft tire compared to Lombards on the super soft. Ooh, they make a little bit of contact there. Bollard's flying as well. Wheel banging coming out of the last corner. Lombards also losing a position there to Cas Rietveld because of it. No DRS yet this lap. And Synek also has to defend again from Vlad Tokarev coming into turn 1. Vlad is not giving Synek any room to breathe so far. Alfie Lawrenson right behind them as well. Still very close and putting on the pressure. This driller's a little bit of a driller's train here in first place, third place and fourth place. We'll be trying to get further to the front together.
And yeah, God, there's loads of stuff happening in the midfield. The top 10 is all fairly calm and quiet, but there's been a fair bit of contact and wheel banging. There's God, that's what, 8 drivers in the pit lane, 9 drivers in the pit lane as we speak, and there's actually a couple of people having to wait because teammates share pit boxes generally as well. So yeah, there's quite a few cars in the pit lane, and they're going to have to try and probably get to the end on a medium set of tyres if that satisfies the tyre rule for them. But now back at the front, Vlad Tokarev, he is very, very close to Henry Sinek, and he is going to get his nose down the inside of 130. Oh no, he has had to pull out, so he's obviously got slightly higher wings, couldn't quite keep alongside. He's going to have to stay behind for now, but that has meant Alfie Lawrenson is right on his tail, and they are now completing lap 2. So this time, next lap, they will have the DRS, but now they will have to just use the slipstream. And just behind, we got Tommy Yalitalo trying to get past Canapino around the outside turn 1, but he is actually pulled out of it. So as Cas Rietveld, he pulled out of getting past Tom Lombard. So there's still a lot of battling going on. People trying to get themselves in position. As Jan Wozaka has retired. Jan Wozaka has retired from this race. So this puts Cas Rietveld in a really, really, really good position for the championship. He's already 16 points ahead. And with 50 points on offer after this race, he can get another 10 or 15 or so, that will put him in a very good opportunity to win the championship next time out in the Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we can find a replay of what happened to Jan Woznica on the start. It's not gonna be easy to find. Let's have a look. I think I might have found it. Let's quickly look if we can have a look at that replay. Here we go. This is from the outside, coming into turn 1. Had a bit of a wheel bang with the Netrix and the Ghost Speed there, and then just everything came together. Big crash and a lot of cars involved. Let's have one last look at that from an onboard perspective from Woznica. Coming into turn 2. Got sandwiched a little bit there. Not much he could have done about that. Then he spun around. Yeah, unfortunate for him, and unfortunate retirement as well.
Yeah, that is a bit of a sad sight, unfortunately. That's probably the end of Jan Woznia's title hopes. However, we said that about Cas Rietveld last time out when he DNF'd, which gave Jan a really good chance to claw points. However, Jan also DNF'd on that occasion, so let's see if Cas able to stay in this race. Currently in 9th position, but he also knows he doesn't need to take any significant risks. 9th place will still be some points for him. I think it's 6 points. That will be for him, which will just keep his total going, making it even harder for Jan to get this back. And last time round, when you were watching the replay, we had DRS for the first time. And Tokarev wasn't quite close enough, but Yalitalo was close enough to Canapino. However, Canapino was able to defend, so we need to see what they can do this time around. And now Tom Lombard is actually trying to go round the outside of Zolt Souks in the chicane. And as Hulkenberg would say, see you later. Because he will also have the DRS, because the detection is just before... Oh no, he didn't actually. He must have been just ahead. Although just ahead of him, lots of action here. Because Yalitalo now... trying to go around the outside, but he couldn't quite get there. Turns in and there was contact made. And yeah, Tom Lombard went off the track there. Yeah, he didn't open DRS initially, so he obviously didn't think that he had it, but then he must have realised that his little light was flashing. Yeah, he's down on to 9th place, so Cas Rietveld getting a free position there.
Yep. Lombard's maybe a little bit known now for being sometimes a bit too aggressive, especially when he's in a battle. Maybe taking a bit too much risk, maybe pushing his tires a bit too hard and then losing out in the end of the race. Let's hope he can get himself together in this race. Still in 9th place, still 28 laps to go, so if he can get himself together, have some patience, he might be able to get a good result out of this. Tokarev close once again, coming into the 130R. Obviously, the chicane is going to be important for him because We'll have the DRS. Is it going to be enough to actually make a move coming into turn 1? Needs to get a good exit out of here. A little bit of a wiggle there from Henry, but the exit is good. Tokarev, I think, is a bit too far back to really do anything. It goes downhill, so it's easy to think that you're too far away, but then gain that speed going downhill. But
yeah, I think Tokarev just has too high wing. His top speed is not even at sort of the 320 mark. So I think he has a bit higher wing, which is probably what helped him in the qualifying session to get that far up. But it's going to be a bit difficult for him to overtake, so he's going to need to keep really close. However, with those high wings, that will be very beneficial for his tyre wear, and also staying close through this first and second sector where all the corners are. So a couple of notable things right now. We've had 6 DNFs so far. Miguel San Mateo, Noah Rivers, Jan Woznica, Milan Rajkovic, Jakub Karsovic, and also James Zuba. So unfortunately James there on his debut not been able to finish the race. And we've also got Petar Palasek in P13. And this is also his debut. Only the second race for the Papaya Boys team. They are currently in P13, so if he can stay there, then there'll be some nice points for them. As a new team coming into the season late, it's always hard to get up to speed, but they're in the points so far. Oh, and George Chachipantelis has gone off at the final chicane. He rejoined a little bit dangerously there, but he's now under attack from Michael Wilson, and Michael Wilson's teammate Tom Lombard is already in the pit lane. He's obviously done with his tyres after 5 laps, which should be okay to get to the end on those medium set of tyres. That shouldn't be too bad, and he might get a little bit of an undercut on the cars ahead as well. Canapino's gone off. Canapino has gone off at the exit of the Dunlop, and he had a little bit of contact with Cas Rietveld as he rejoined, so that is him down into 7th place. Lost 2 positions with that. Didn't quite see how that went. He probably just got caught on the curb or the gravel on the outside of that corner. It's very easily done there as you try and take the speed flat out through the Dunlop curve.
Rietveld very close to Canapino there, coming into Spoon. Ooh, a bit of oversteer on the exit curb. That is going to mean he's a bit too far back probably to make a move coming into the Casio Triangle, but his top speed is quite a bit higher. Look at this, maybe using a bit of boost as well.
As we said earlier, Cas doesn't need to take any undue risks. However, he also doesn't want to lose the train of cars ahead of him. He needs to be smart with how he plays this, and he's got really good overspeed there. He's going to have to go around the outside, a little bit of contact. He luckily didn't get caught on the curb, because that would have sent him off the track and onto the runoff. But he is still in 8th place for now. Someone who's having a bit of a disappointing day so far is Matt Tucson down in P17, and also Indrek Remitz down in P18. That's the best day for them. I didn't see if they got caught up in that first sort of sector incident on the first lap. But either way, they're down in 7th place. And Matt Tucson's just had a massive snap of oversteer. He managed to catch it. That is not what you want to do. That would have really heated up the rear tyres, which could make traction a little bit hard for the next couple of corners as well. And just behind him now is Tom Lombards, who's already pitted on those medium tyres, seeing if he can make some sort of undercut work. Let's have a look at these lap times. Yeah, so these drivers seem to be making these Super soft tyres last pretty well. Pace drop-off isn't too bad so far. However, Yelitalo and Zooks and also Cas Rietveld have all come in to try and get. Hello and welcome back to round number 12 of the Formula SimRacing Academy Championship. Unfortunately, the stream stopped working for a couple of minutes there. However, there's been quite a bit of action. Unfortunately, we managed to miss it. Your race leader, Henry Sinek, crashed out of this race. He seemed to have a screen freeze, which meant that he lost control of the car and went into the wall. And then we've had lots of our leaders pit. We got, for instance, Alfie Lawrenson pit, Vlad Tokarev, etc. And they are just fighting through traffic now in about P8 and 9. However, Tom Lombards, who did that earlier pit stop, has managed to get into P7 with the undercut. So he's now technically leading the race. And the cars ahead of him are only ones who are still out on those medium tyres. So they're going to be going for quite a few more laps. So he's going to need to work through the traffic with Alfie Lawrenson as they are now fighting for the win in this race. We have completed 12 laps so far. Now Vlad Tokarev has just followed through on Matt Tucson as well. So another news was just at that pit stop before the stream crashed. Tommy Yelitalo was looking in a good position in P6. However, he took the soft compound tyres, which means he's almost definitely going to have to make an extra pit stop, which is a bit of a silly choice because the one stop should be pretty simple, doing a super soft medium strategy. And we've got people like Jan Grantfist and Cas Rietveld down in 13th and 14th, and even Cadapino down in 16th because they lost so much time staying out on those super soft tyres, which really sort of, they didn't necessarily drop off, but they were just slower than if they had pitted. They would have been about half a second or a second a lap quicker on the medium tyres. The super softs really drop off.
Adam Rainey fighting with Michael Wilson now for the lead of the of the race, at least at the moment. Of course, they haven't pitted yet. DRS will open. I think he's a little bit too far back, but he's gaining quickly. Perhaps a move into turn 2 if he can get the braking right. No, has to back out of it.
Yeah, so these guys will be fighting for some decent positions. With a pit stop being around 20 odd seconds. That would put them just behind Canapino, who was obviously in sort of 5th or 6th position. I'm talking about Canapino's going down the inside of Patrick Rusinek. They locked wheels a little bit, so Rusinek got pushed out. Canapino didn't really leave enough room, but then the wheels got locked, so there wasn't much he could have done at that point. So I have to see if anything comes of that later on. However, that is him past another car, so because he pitted later, he will be able to just absolutely push these tyres to the end. But he has some 10 seconds to make up from the time he lost in the first part of the race. Someone else crashed.
Yeah, yellow flag in sector 3. Borotowski, I think.
Martin Antal as well, crashing coming out of turn 1.
Andrei Borotowski has no front wing at least.
Yeah, a few drivers here. Oh, he did what Matt Tucson did earlier. Lost the rear coming out of Degner 2. And yeah.
Let's have a quick peek at that replay. Indeed, lost the rear there into the wall without a front wing. Has to go back to the pits, get a new one. Basically his race over. Still a good chance to maybe get some points, but won't be the easiest race for him.
Yes, this is going to be a bit of a weird few laps right now because the medium tyres can go so far at quite a consistent pace. You might see Tom Lombart's not really catching these guys ahead at a huge overlap of speed. Obviously, he will be quicker with having newer tyres, but pace difference won't be too bad. He still has 5 cars to get through whilst defending from Alfie Lawrenson, and now Vlad Tokarev is right on the back of them as well. There's going to be a 3-car battle for the lead over the next few laps, and we'll see how the traffic comes into play. And we won't really know the exact positions of everyone until those final pit stops are made from the people on the alternate strategy. Unfortunately, due to that, the contacts, for instance, on the first lap and stuff like that, we've got 9 DNFers from this race so far as well, which is a bit of a shame. But that's how it goes sometimes. Especially in the Academy Championship, this is the lowest tier. And we now got Tom Lombards getting through Mike Almeida. Alfie Lawrenson is going to try and come through as well to try and not lose too much time, and he's made it work. However, Vlad Tokarev will have to wait for a few corners extra. But yeah, can't quite make it work into turn 3. So Mike Almeida trying to just do his own race. He obviously knows he's not really battling these drivers. So let's have a look at the constructors, because as I said earlier on, Isomaris can win the constructors title here today.
Tokarev was very close. Sorry to undercut you there, coming into the hairpin, almost hit the back of Mike Almeida.
Yeah, Tokarev's actually having a good race today. He lying quite far down in Championship. Yeah, he's in 15th place. He hasn't shown up for a couple of races. His best is 5th position, and he's thinking about moving to 130R. Yeah, his best is a 5th, 6th, and a 7th. But he's also had 3 DNFs and a disqualification as well. So he's had a bit of an up and down season, but this is a lot. But he always loses the rear end. He's still going to have DRS to make that time back. Yeah, ASR would actually need to outscore Ghostspeed by quite a few points, and that's probably not going to happen with just Cass Rietveld up there for them today. I think we can leave that calculation for another day, depending on...
They've sold Soeks now. Okay, welcome back again to the 12th round of the Formula SimRacing Academy Championship. Fortunately, the stream dropped there, but we are back now, and we'll just have a bit of radio for the time being while the cameras get back. And we've got Mike Almeida now and Tommy Yelitalo battling around that final corner. Yelitalo is obviously on this two-stop strategy. It's probably not going to work out for him today. He's not quite making the moves up the field that he would need to. And I would be really surprised if he does try and get to the end. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to quite work out for him. However, back at the front, we've now got Tom Lombart's leading. However, he's up to 5th place. He's only got 4 cars ahead of him. And the likes of Grantfis and Cass, who pit a bit later, aren't quite making that lap time back. So it seems Tom's thought of doing the quite big undercut has actually paid off here. Got him in the lead. And he is looking good to at least attempt to make this his 2nd race win of the year. Been a bit of an up and down season for him, but getting a race win is always good for the driver's confidence, which he did back at his home race in Spa-Francorchamps a couple of races ago. He's got Alfie Lawrenson, who he's had a couple of podiums to his name, if I'm not mistaken, this year, or at least he's had a couple of top 5s, if not podiums. He has not got the race win. He couldn't overtake his teammate Henry Sinek last time out in Singapore, so he's obviously going to be going for this quite hard. Pushed Sinek all the way in Singapore, but couldn't make it work, so he's got another opportunity here today to get a race win. And yeah, Tommy Yelitalo has come in to make a pit stop, so that really wasn't worth it, to be honest. Really wasn't worth it to come in. He's now back out on the soft compound tyres. However, he's going to be almost last, but there are quite a few people ahead who actually still need to make a pit stop, so maybe it can work to some degree. Fortunately, the likes of like Canapino as well, down in 13th place, hasn't quite worked out for him. He's 12 seconds off the potential race leader of Tom Lombards at the moment, who's actually now on the back of Luke Zach. He's going to have to wait through the Spoon Corner. Spoon Corner is not really a place to overtake. It's possible, but easier to wait and try and get the slipstream down into 130R. Maybe using a bit of the quali boost as well. Going to use that very sparingly throughout the race. We've got to be careful, and Alfie Lawrenson sends it through as well. So Alfie is wasting no time trying to get this race win. We've got Adam Rainey and Michael Wilson now coming into the pits, so they got 20 laps out of those tyres, and with 12 laps to go, I'd assume they're probably actually going to take the soft tyres to make that a bit easier to the end. Yeah, Wilson takes softs, and also Luke Zach and Rainey as well, so they're all taking those soft compound tyres, so that should be going to the end. So there's now only one car, which is Petar Palazek, who's in the way of Tom Lombards at the moment from being in the actual race lead. Go back to cameras.
Okay, so we should have the cameras back, so you can have a picture of what I am talking about now, which is good. But yeah, as you can see, it's a little bit of a train behind Palisek at the moment, because Tom Lombards is working for it, but it's obviously not the easiest thing to overtake, especially when the medians won't drop off that much, that the pace difference isn't huge. However, once Palisek makes a pit stop, probably in the next few laps, that'll be a bit easier for Tom Lombards, but then it'll be all down to Alfie Lawrenson and what can he do to get his first race win in FSR. Tom Lombards is very close here. Is he going to try? No, oh no, he's switched back and he's actually hit Palisek. Palisek's gone into the wall. Luckily, he hasn't lost his front wing. But that was, well, that was probably too much risk from Tom Lombards, to be honest. He didn't really need to rush through there, knowing that there was a DRS zone right here, but that means Palisek has gone into the pit lane. And yeah, fortunately he's still got his front wing, but he's going to have some suspension damage, and also Matt Tucson into the pit lane as well. So I don't think Palisek will be very happy with that, to be honest, because he was sort of just going about doing his own business. So yeah, Tom Lombards might be under review of the stewards later on. We'll have to see what happens. But it's now down to Alfie Lawrenson. He has got 11 laps, including this one, to make something work, to try and get an overtake, win the Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah, I've said it before already in this broadcast as well. Tom sometimes taking a little bit too much risk when it's not really needed, and that ends up biting him in the rear, to say it like that. But for now he's leading the race, and let's see if he can continue doing that for the next 10 laps. It's going to be easy with Tokarev and Alfie Lawrenson right on his tail.
And a little bit further back, we've got Cas Rietveld now in 6th place, catching up to Mike Almeida. Mike still out there on those medium tyres. He might actually be going for those super softs maybe at the end, compared to the other people on those soft tyres. So I'll have to see how that works out for him, but he's now got Cas Rietveld behind him. Championship leader, getting some more points, now up into 5th place. That is looking like a good points haul for him today, just needs to keep it going. He has got 5 seconds to Zoltsuk, so he's probably not going to catch him. However, 5th place is still a good points haul for him. 5th place will get him 13 points, which means he will have 29 points. Which means he will pretty much have to DNF next time out to not win the championship, which is, or at least have some sort of significantly bad race for that to happen. So this is looking good for him if he can just keep it going in 5th place and pick up these points. So Michael Wilson and Adam Rainey, they had 9th and 10th, so this alternate strategy has worked out pretty well for them. Rainey actually going past Canapino.
Tokarev, watch Tokarev going side by side into 130R. Oof. Very close there. Didn't manage to make the move stick there on Alfie Lawrenson, but almost made contact there through 130R. It's not easy to go side by side, and you can see Tokarev lost quite a bit of time compared to Alfie Lawrenson.
Yeah, 130R is a bit of a weird one, because if you don't make the move stick, you generally lose a fair amount of time. But then that means that you're a lot further back for the DRS zone that's coming. A couple of corners later. Just see Mike Almeida gone off. Grantfist got past him into turn 1. So this traffic has actually slowed down Almeida a bit, so this actually may not work for him, because he's now got Rainey and Wilson, who he was only a few seconds behind, but they've already pit and now have caught up to him. And yeah, this alternate strategy has worked out pretty well for them. P8 and 9 for now. They'll get Almeida, because he still needs to pit. So that'll be 7th and 8th for those two, and obviously they started a lot lower down. So that is a good points haul for them, especially Adam Rainey, who has not really been in the top 10 so far this year, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be good. Yeah, I know he's had 2 P10s, but his other points finishes have been sort of 14th and 15th. So this will be a nice haul for him, getting well inside the top 10. Rainey actually had a bit of a bad exit, so he's actually going to have to overtake Mike Almeida to defend really from Michael Wilson. So Wilson has now got past Almeida as well. So I wonder if Almeida will come in this lap. Yes, he does, because he was losing a little bit too much time there really. But he might now have to take the soft tyres as well.
Pressure still on. Tom Lombard, Alfie Laurenson and Vlad Tokarev not making it easy at all.
Yeah, Alfie's in a bit of a difficult situation because he's obviously got to attack and defend at the same time. If you're not careful, you can get caught out with one or the other and actually lose out. So if he's too busy defending, then he won't be close enough to Tom. But then if he's too busy attacking, he might, if he loses a bit of time or in dirty air or something, he might be under threat from Tokarev as well. Well, these 3 drivers within a second of each other. It's good to see 3 cars, 3 different teams, 3 sort of unusual drivers, not always fighting for race wins, are here going for this Japanese Grand Prix. We're going to have 7 laps left at the end of this one, and Tokarev's actually thinking about going around the outside, but Alfie slightly moved across there and Tokarev's lost time, and that's basically going to be race victory gone for Tokarev. He's going to have lost too much time from that. That's a bit of a weird one. The track sort of kinks right a little bit, and I think Alfie kept his car straight. But yeah, Tokarev is going to be out. I don't know if you want to get a replay of that one.
Yes. Let's have a quick look. So indeed here, from the outside view, Tokarev just made a little bit of contact. Maybe Laurenson went a little bit too far to the inside. Let's have a look once again from the onboard. It's difficult. Didn't leave him a lot of space. Just a slight bit of contact was made there. It's something that the stewards will have to look at later on.
Yeah, that's lost him a couple of seconds, and could put him under threat from Zoltsuks later on in the race. Just have to see what their lap times are as we come to the closing stages of this race. But it is all about Alfie Laurenson now. Can he get the victory from Tom Lombards? Tom is doing a pretty good job now. He's getting the exits out of the corners that he needs to. But that Driller's car did seem to have pretty decent straight line speed. The opportunity certain will be there. But once you've sat behind a driver for this long, Tom obviously knows where Alfie's quick, he knows where Alfie's slow. You'll know what to do. And yeah, Tom's top speed on his own is pretty decent. He's obviously got a little bit less wing on that car, which is why Alfie's can probably keep up here. Tokarev's actually caught up. He might actually be within DRS towards the end of this lap. Probably a little bit frustrated from that. And yeah, he was 1 second quicker last lap. That just shows you the pace Tokarev has. So if he can use that momentum as he comes up to Alfie and try and pass on that lap, which will actually probably be this lap coming up, and he might be able to make that work. And looking further down the field, we've got Michael Wilson going past Jan Grantfis actually. So Michael Wilson is up to 6th place. He's got past Adam Rainey in the process too, and Grantfist goes round. He's lost his front wing. So he's going to have to make a pit stop. And in the background, we've got Canapino going off for the second time that we've seen this race as well. So he's obviously not most comfortable with the car. But yeah, Grantfist is going to have to make a pit stop, which means he is going to lose quite a few positions. So hasn't really been the day for drillers in terms of Henry Sinek and Grantfist, but they still have Alfie Lawrenson at the front. That has just opened up a good opportunity for Wilson to possibly even attack Cas Rietveld as well. Being on those soft tyres, he's into the 1 minute 31s. Cas is in the high 32s, even into the 33s. So Michael Wilson might actually be able to get 5th place. He's really made this alternate strategy work.
5 laps to go, including this one. And Tokarev seems to be rather quick. Let's see if he can get past Alfie Lawrenson this time around. And then obviously pressure Tom Lombard.
It's pretty crazy how quick Tokarev has caught up. Obviously Tom pitting, I think it was lap 5 that he pits, so his tyres will be quite a bit older, because these guys pit near lap 10, I think. So they will obviously have a bit of a tyre advantage. And Alfie sitting behind Tom for all of the race isn't going to be the best of his tyres, but now it's Tokarev who's actually closer to Alfie. Didn't quite get a good exit there, did he? Going to be a bit difficult to overtake down into turn 1. The thing is, with overtaking into turn 1 as well, is you really have to commit, because there isn't really a braking zone before you tip it in. So you have to really commit and get it. And then Michael Wilson behind has got Cas Rietveld. Adam Rainey actually will have an opportunity here as well. So Cas is going to be losing a couple of positions. However, with Woznica DNFing all those laps ago, still going to be a pretty decent race for Cas. Let's have a look further down the points. So we've got Tommy Yelitalo on that 2-stop strategy in 16th place. Then we've got Petar Palazek in his debut in P11. So that's a nice result for him, if he can keep Matt Tucson behind, who is just there, who's had a bit of a quiet race really. Hasn't been mentioned too often. Then we've got Mike Almeida, who probably stayed out a little bit too long on those medium tyres. Then we've got Dano Brantholm in P14, and the last points is for Patrick Rusinik, so that could be a double points finish for the Papaya boys.
Interact also, I think, doing quite a good race. I think he started down in like P22, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, Adam Rainey going around the outside of 130 arts. Sorry to cut you off. He actually kind of drove off the track to make that overtake work, so a little bit cheeky from Adam there, but he is ahead. Don't know if they'll want to be reviewed later, but yeah, you are correct about Indrek. He's worked his way up the field very slowly. I did mention in the qualifying session that he was quite far down, but he's now a Yelitalo on those a lot fresher soft tyres coming past. And in the background, who's that? That's Matt Tucson going past Palazek. And Matt Tucson up into 11th place as well.
Alright, Tokarev still very close to that rear wing of the Drillers Motorsport car in front of him. He gets a good exit, which I think he has done here. Might be able to make the move stick into Spoon. We've seen drivers do it before. It's not easy. He doesn't really take the slipstream though. He keeps out of the slipstream a little bit, losing the top speed because of that, I think. Coming into Spoon. Now again, too much to the air, a bit too far back, I think, to do anything coming into the Casio triangle. Only 2 laps to go after this one. So it's going to be all or nothing. What is our podium going to look like here in this 12th round of the Academy Championship? That is what we're going to find out very soon. Tokarev pushing hard, but can't really find his way past this Drillers Motorsport car. And the same goes the other way around. Tom Lambert's doing a good job in fending off these two drivers. And leading the race for quite a few laps so far. Tokarev now losing quite a bit of ground compared to Alfie. And I think Alfie might be close enough to try something here. Yes, I think he is coming down the back straight. DRS opens around the outside into turn 1. It's not going to be easy for him. But can he make it stick? Ooh, very close. He is in front coming into turn 2. Seems like he's made the move stick. And Alfie Lawrenson for Drillers Motorsport into the lead of this race with only 1 lap to go. This is the last lap. Let's see if Tom Lamberts can fend off Tokarev for long enough now to still keep his 2nd place. He might have to consider just trying to take 3rd, because I don't think he's going to be able to keep Tokarev back. Maybe we'll be able to do so, but it's not going to be easy. Tokarev has a lot of pace. We've seen that already. And Alfie Lawrenson already extending the gap to over half a second. And Tom Lambert's having a lot of wheel spin there coming out of the hairpin. Tokarev now very close behind. Again, opts to not really take the slipstream, which seems very weird to me. Coming into Spoon. Now this is where he needs to get a good exit if he wants to go. Tom Lambert's tires are dead, I think.
Yeah, his rear tyres are done, and this has given Tokarev a really, really good opportunity, although Tom is going to make him go around the outside of 130R. That's going to be a really big move if he can make it work, but he doesn't quite have the top speed, so he's going to have to do it in this braking zone. He has not been able to do it, but we're going to have to quickly look at Alfie Lawrenson as he is going to take his first victory in FSR. Has the Drillers driver, and Tom manages to keep 2nd place. But well done to Alfie for getting that move, stayed behind him all race, and has taken the 2nd race victory in a row for Drillers, his first victory in FSR. And oh wow, we got a big crash in the background. So we got Zolksux in 4th, Michael Wilson in 5th, Adam Rainey in 6th, Luke Sack got 8th, yeah, Littelo in 8th, Cuss Rietveld crashed but managed to roll across the line in 9th, Matt Tucson in 10th. Indrek Remitz in 11th, Palazek in P12, Mike Almeida in P13, Dano Brentholm in P14, and Rusinek is going to get the last point, followed by Grantfist, Spantanis Bortowski.
I think Rietveld ran out of fuel. Let's look at it again from the onboard. I think Rietveld ran out of fuel coming to the line.
Possibly.
And then just got rammed by the car behind him, or his engine died. One of the two. Because he just lost all the speed.
Let's
have a look from the driver behind.
Yeah, he ran out of fuel. Yeah, he ran out of fuel. He would have been able to roll to the line as well, but obviously the car behind obviously wouldn't have known that. And Canapino actually blew his engine on the final lap. Canapino DNF'd. So yeah, that was a really weird race. So much happened. Henry Sinek was in the lead, then he crashed. It was quite a few crashes at the beginning. Jan Wozniak DNF, which opened the championship for Cass, but then Cass only got 9th place. The alternate strategy was probably king around this. Michael Wilson was only 4 seconds off the lead in the end, starting way down. So yeah, it's a very interesting race indeed here at Suzuka. But well done to Alfie Lawrenson for getting his first race victory. He's only been here, I think, since Hungary or since Silverstone, something around that midpoint in the season. So the Drillers guys are really stepping up, and we'll have to see what they can do. So we have 2 races left. We've got Circuit of the Americas and we've got Brazil. However, later today we will have the Pro race, and then we will have the World Championship to finish it off as well.
Yes, indeed. So the World Championship will be at 18:30 GMT. That's the most important one of the two, of course. So make sure you don't miss that. Also, the Pro race will be in roughly 1 hour's time when we start the qualifying. So make sure you tune in for that as well, as I'm sure it will be an exciting race, but especially the World Championship. 18:30 GMT, make sure you tune in for that, because that will be a very exciting race. As always, thanks for watching so far. From me and from Cameron, a big thank you to you, and of course to the drivers giving us the show today. And I hope to see you for the Pro race, and after that for the World Championship race. Until then, I guess take care.
Hey man, I got that new 10 max